Dating back centuries, the traditions and stories of the people of Africa are undoubtedly some of the most fascinating in the whole world. The communities have enriched the continent through economic, political, social, and cultural activities, each with their own unique stories. Today, we will be looking at the Kamba story of creation and the origin of death. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with this tribe, the Kamba, also known as the Akamba, are a Bantu ethnic tribe predominantly found in the eastern region of Kenya. According to the Akamba creation myth, a god called Mulungu created the first man, Mundu, and woman, Kiveti, then placed them on a rock on top of 𝗣𝗟𝗪 Hills in Makueni, where to this day, you will still find their footprints as well as those of their livestock. Mulungu had gifted them with the cattle so they could derive their means of livelihood. Then Mulungu went ahead and caused a great rainfall, and from the many anthills around, another man and woman came out. Even though the names of the second couple are unknown, the Kambas believe that they were the initiators of the spirits clan. And back in the day, both groups could interact physically with each other without a problem. Now, it so happened that the couple from heaven only had sons, while the couple from the anthill only had daughters. So as per Kamba customs, the couple from heaven decided to pay dowry for the daughters of the couple from the anthill so they could continue their lineages. And for the next couple of centuries, the families and their cattle greatly increased in numbers. However, with this prosperity, they abandoned the ways of their creator and stopped offering sacrifices like before. So as a result, Mulungu punished them with a great famine, which forced them to disperse in different directions in pursuit of food and greener pastures for their cattle. Today, the Akamba believe that this dispersal is what resulted in all the different cultures around the world. That said, the creation story isn't specific about the number of children that each couple had initially, or what their names were. Now, let us look at the origin of death according to the Kamba. According to the Kamba creation story, men were supposed to have the gift of immortality of rising again after dying. Legend states that Mulungu decided to make this matter permanent and official, so he called his most trusted messenger, the chameleon, and sent him to the men with a message that said, "Go, chameleon, go and say to the men that they will never die." The chameleon instantly set out on its journey, but crawled extremely slowly and even stopped along the way to bask in the sun and fill its belly with flies. Even worse, a short while after the chameleon had left, the lizard went to men with a different message, which stated that men will die and never return. And being faster than the chameleon, and thanks to the chameleon deciding to go on a break during its journey, the lizard arrived fast and gave his twisted message, thus sealing the mortal nature of man. What is even more interesting about this story on the origin of death is that it's similar across all Bantu cultures in Africa. So as a result, both lizards and chameleons are considered a bad omen in most Bantu tribes. With that in mind, I presume you may now be wondering why Mulungu, the supreme god, will allow these conflicting messages to be delivered to men. Well, depending on the local tradition you will consult, you will receive one of three different explanations. In the first explanation, God sent both lizard and a chameleon with their conflicting messages, therefore intentionally committing the destiny of mankind's mortal nature to the outcome of the race between the two creatures. In the second explanation, it mentions that when God was giving the orders to the chameleon, the lizard was around and he decided to deliver the opposite of the message to men out of envy. In the third and most prevalent explanation, God sent the chameleon with the message of immortality, but he later decided to change his mind due to the bad behavior of mankind, so he decided to send the first lizard with a contradicting message of death. Now, let us look at the mystical traditional religion of the Akamba. Even though Christianity has become increasingly prevalent across Kamba communities, some of them still observe some aspects of traditional religion. The traditional religion was based on Mulungu, the supreme high god we talked about at the beginning of the video, and was also based on righteous ancestral spirits. The Kamba believe that when one passes away, he or she simply transitions to the world of spirits. The Kambas call it 𝗖𝗛𝗄. And if the person was righteous during his time on earth, then he will usually be allowed to act as an intercessor between humans and Mulungu. In fact, these ancestral spirits were even remembered during family offerings, rituals, and libations offered at different altars. Even more interesting, just like the neighboring communities who included the Taita, Meru, and Agikuyu, Kambas also had medicine men and medicine women like 𝗖𝗛𝗪𝗪𝗓, 𝗖𝗛𝗪𝗪, and 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. And lucky for you, I created a video on the legend of 𝗖𝗛𝗪𝗪𝗓 recently, so make sure you check it out when you're done watching this video. I will leave a link to it in the description below. That said, before we look at some interesting tricks these medicine men and women use to heal diseases, you need to understand that according to the Akamba, seers and medicine people don't fall under the same category as witchcraft and magic. The Kamba believe that prophets and medicine people of God were switches and practitioners of black magic of the devil. For that reason, medicine men and women played a very integral part in Kamba communities, and each village usually had one medicine person per generation. These gifted individuals were responsible for prophesying future events like war, and also officiating religious events such as sacrificial offerings and rain-making rituals. Medicine men and women also believed that illnesses were caused by one of these three different things: spirits who were angry with the ways of the living, through black magic sent by evil individuals, or contracted in a natural way. The third one was usually the least usual. But whichever the case, medicine men and women believed that it was up to them to go through a divination process to ascertain the cause of the sickness and deliver the right prescription. And if the illness was a new case the medicine man or woman had never faced before, then he or she will pray to the ancestors about it. And after the prayers have been received, an ancestral spirit will usually visit in a dream and guide the medicine person to a tree or substance that can be used to heal the mysterious disease. And if the medicine person follows the exact route the following day, then they will usually find the cure at the exact spot as shown in the dream. With that in mind, as I mentioned before, one of the most powerful medicine people to have ever existed in Africa is a lady by the name 𝗖𝗛𝗘𝗧𝗧, who was born and raised in Iveti Hills near what is now called Machakos. She is also widely known for prophesying the colonization of the Europeans, as well as the construction of the Kenya-Uganda Railway, which started in the 1980s. So make sure you check out her stories in the link in the description below. Now let us look at 5 tricks and methods Kamba traditional medicine men and women use to heal different ailments in their communities. And if you like the content, kindly do not forget to subscribe to the channel. This will help it grow and allow me to make more videos in the future. This calabash, also known as 𝗣𝗟𝗣𝗣𝗢 among the Kamba, was only carved and used by medicine people. In fact, medicine men and women would even tie it to their bags using a rope at all times, because it was believed to be blessed by the supreme god with special healing abilities. These calabashes are also the same instruments used on women who are experiencing difficulties related to childbirth. Medicine people used the root of the longa tree as an antidote on people who had been bitten by snakes. In fact, while researching for this video, I also realized that neighboring communities, including the 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧, also used this plant to heal snake bites as well. This charm that could also double up as a bag was usually made from the tail of a several cat, a male goat's skin, a pointed piece of wood with a hole in it, and a cord made from the 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧 tree. The bag was only made by medicine people and will be given to married men as a charm they could use to protect their livestock and homesteads. In Kamba's efforts to worship their righteous ancestors and Mulungu, dancing was an essential feature. They would also use it when healing an individual possessed by a troublesome spirit, or when trying to voluntarily get in touch with the spirit world so they can get a solution to something that was troubling the community. And just like all the other examples above, these spiritual dances were also officiated by the community's medicine man or woman, and the Akamba believed that if the dance appeased the spirits, then they will take care of all their problems. Some of the musical instruments used during these dances included drums for beats and beaded necklaces with aluminium bells for the rhythm. That said, music wasn't only used when the community wanted to get in touch with the spirit world. It was a form of leisure as well. This flute, for instance, is made from bamboo, also called mwangi in the Kamba language, and was used by gentlemen in Kamba communities as a form of entertainment. And as you can see in the image, it has 3 perfectly crafted holes and is nicely shaped to allow the passage of air and produce sound. The black stone, also known as a snake stone among the Kamba, is a special stone medicine men and women used as a first aid measure to suck out venom after someone had been bitten by a snake. In fact, to this day, this solution is still famous among Kamba households and has also been proven to work on scorpion bites, caterpillar bites, and spider bites. To use the stone after someone has been bitten by a snake, the medicine man will usually slice the bitten area using a sharp object like a knife and attach the stone to the area. And to show that the black stone is working, it will sink into place and stay that way until it was done sucking out all the venom. Once it was done sucking out the venom, documented records show that the stone will then drop automatically. And after using the stone, one obviously had to clean and prepare it so it was ready in case someone else got bitten by a snake. To clean it, Kambas will wash and rinse it using warm running water and then place it on the roof of the hut so the remaining venom can be sucked out by the sun. Well, of course, the Akambas do not call it anxiety disorder, they call it nguluki. But the old man that was explaining the disease to me described it as follows. A person instantly responding to a normal situation with dread and fear. Doesn't that sound like an anxiety disorder to you? Anyway, to heal the disease, traditional Kamba medicine men would usually place a chicken on a shallow traditional basket Kambas called lungo and then fly it above the kid's head. And after repeating the same thing 3 times, the anxiety disorder on the individual would usually leave them instantly and forever. If the Akamba sound interesting to you, you will find a majority of them in Kitui, Makueni and Machakos County. Collectively, the Akamba call these areas Ukambani. You will also find some of them in Paraguay, Tanzania and Uganda. That's it for today. If you like the content, kindly do not forget to smash the like button below. This will help the channel grow and allow me to make more videos in the future. Also, if you have a topic you think I should cover, do not hesitate to leave a comment below. Thank you and see you again next week.